Imagine this. You meet someone who seems completely normal. They smile. They shake your hand. They look just like anyone else walking down the street. But beneath that smile, behind those eyes, is something darker, something hungry. They're not wearing horns. They don't have wings. But what they carry inside them is far more terrifying. These are the people I call human demons. They don't burn you with fire. They burn you with lies. They don't cut you with claws. They cut you with betrayal. And if you don't learn to recognize them early, they will consume your life, your energy, and maybe even your soul. So today, I'm going to reveal to you 5 signs you're dealing with a human demon. And when you see these signs, you don't just walk away. You run. Because the deeper you go with them, the harder it is to escape. Stay with me until the very end, because missing even one of these signs could cost you more than you ever imagined. Sign 1. They drain your energy without saying a word. You know those moments when you meet someone, and after just a few minutes, you feel like the life has been sucked right out of you? Your body feels heavy. Your mind feels foggy. It's like you just ran a marathon, but all you did was sit and talk. That's not normal. That's not just being tired. That's the presence of a human demon. See, most people exchange energy naturally. When you spend time with good friends, you laugh, you share stories, you feel lighter afterward. That's how human connection is supposed to work, a give and take of energy. But when you're around a human demon, it's only take. They don't need to argue with you. They don't need to insult you directly. Just being in their presence feels like a weight pressing down on your soul. Why does this happen? Because human demons feed on what you have inside you. Your joy, your confidence, your hope. And every smile you give them, every ounce of attention, every moment of silence where you're trying to understand them, is like a meal for them. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're sitting in a room with someone. You start the conversation happy, talking about your day. But within 10 minutes, you notice they've turned everything into negativity. You talk about your success, they respond with jealousy. You share a dream, they tell you it's impossible. You laugh, they frown and guilt trip you for being too happy. And when you leave, you don't feel good. You don't feel inspired. You feel drained. This is not an accident. It's not random. This is one of the oldest tricks of a human demon, to weaken you emotionally so they can gain control. Think about it. When you're tired, drained, and second-guessing yourself, you're easier to manipulate. And that's exactly what they want. So the first sign is this. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. If you walk away weaker, smaller, or emptier, you might be standing face to face with a human demon. And let me warn you, this is only the beginning. Because the second sign is even darker. Sign 2. They wear a mask that always slips at first glance. A human demon can seem charming. They know how to smile at the right time, say the right words, even play the role of the perfect friend or dream partner. But here's the truth. It's not the real them. It's a mask built out of lies, manipulation, and performance. Think about it. If they showed you their true face right away, you'd run instantly. So instead, they study you. They mirror your likes, your values, your dreams, and they wear that reflection like a costume. But the thing about masks is, they eventually slip. You'll notice little cracks in their performance. They say something cruel and then laugh it off as a joke. They claim to support you, but secretly sabotage your progress. They tell stories about themselves that don't quite add up. It's like watching an actor forget their lines mid-performance. For a moment, you see what's really behind the curtain. And if you pay close attention, you'll realize the person you thought you knew never truly existed. They were just showing you a version of themselves that kept you close enough to control. Here's the chilling part. Human demons are masters of disguise. They can play the victim when they need your sympathy. They can play the hero when they want your admiration. They can even play the soulmate when they want your devotion. But sooner or later, you'll catch the flicker in their eyes, the irritation when they don't get their way, the rage when you challenge them, the emptiness when you stop feeding them attention. That's when the mask starts slipping. And let me tell you, once you see what's underneath, it's hard to unsee. The second sign is this: inconsistency. If someone's words and actions don't match, if they switch personalities depending on who's watching. If you constantly feel like you're dealing with two different people, you are not dealing with an ordinary human. You're dealing with a human demon hiding in plain sight. And once the mask comes off, their true nature reveals itself in terrifying ways. Which brings us to the third sign. Sign 3, they thrive on your pain, a normal human being. When they see someone suffering, they feel empathy. If a friend is crying, you want to comfort them. If a family member is hurting, you want to help them heal. That's the human response. But a human demon, they don't feel empathy. They feel pleasure. Let that sink in. Your sadness is their entertainment. Your fear is their victory. Your failure is their favorite story to hear. At first, they won't make it obvious. They'll pretend to care. They'll sit beside you when you're struggling, nod their head, maybe even pat your back. But look closer. Do you see that slight smirk in the corner of their mouth? That flicker of satisfaction in their eyes? That's not concern. That's enjoyment. They feed on it. Because your pain does two things for them. It makes them feel powerful, like they've won, like they're above you. It weakens you, which makes you easier to control, easier to keep under their influence. Here's the real danger. Sometimes they'll even cause the pain just so they can watch you bleed emotionally. They'll insult you in front of others just to see your reaction. They'll betray your trust, then act innocent. They'll remind you of your deepest insecurities at the worst possible moment. And after all of this, they'll sit back and enjoy the show. I want you to think back to a time when you shared your struggles with someone. Instead of encouragement, did they mock you? Instead of helping, did they make you feel even smaller? Instead of lifting you up, did they somehow make the situation worse? If yes, you weren't just dealing with a toxic person. You may have been staring straight into the eyes of a human demon. So the third sign is this: they are fueled by your suffering. The more you hurt, the stronger they feel. And here's the most twisted part. If they see you healing, if they see you standing up, if they see you getting stronger, they'll try everything in their power to break you again. Because your happiness is their greatest enemy. And that leads directly into sign number 4. A sign that shows just how far these people will go to keep you under their control. Sign 4. They trap you in a web of control. Here's the thing about human demons. They're not satisfied with just taking your energy. They're not satisfied with just laughing at your pain. No, they want something bigger. They want control. Control over your emotions. Control over your choices. Control over your entire life. And they're smart about it. They don't just demand it up front. They weave it slowly, like a spider spinning a web. At first, the threads are so thin you barely notice them. They do this through subtle psychological tactics. Guilt tripping, making you feel like you owe them even when you don't. Gaslighting, twisting reality until you doubt your own memory, your own feelings, even your own sanity. Isolation, cutting you off from the people who could warn you or protect you. Imagine this. You tell them you're going out with friends. Suddenly, they look sad. They don't yell, they don't forbid you. But they drop a line like, "Oh, I guess I'm not important enough for your time anymore." Now you feel guilty. So instead of going out, you stay with them. One more thread added to the web. Or maybe you confront them about something cruel they said. Instead of apologizing, they twist it back on you. You're too sensitive. You imagined it. You're overreacting. Now you're doubting yourself. Another thread. And over time, that web gets thicker, stronger, harder to escape. Before you know it, you're no longer living your own life. Your choices revolve around keeping them happy, avoiding their anger, protecting their fragile ego. You've been caught. And here's the most terrifying part. Even when you try to break free, they'll use the web against you. They'll remind you of the secrets you told them. They'll guilt trip you with everything they ever did for you. They'll whisper, "No one else will ever love you the way I do." And for a while, you'll believe them, because that's how deeply their poison seeps into your mind. So the fourth sign is this. If you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells, constantly doubting yourself, constantly sacrificing your freedom just to keep someone calm, you're not in a relationship. You're in a prison. And the warden? A human demon. But here's the thing. As much as they crave control, There's one thing they can't ever truly hide. One final sign, the most chilling of all. And when you see it, that's when you need to run. Sign 5. They try to destroy the light inside you. Every human being has something sacred inside them. It might be your kindness. It might be your faith. It might be your creativity, your passion, your love for life. That's your light. It's what makes you human. It's what gives you strength, hope, and the will to keep going. But a human demon? They can't stand that light, because your light is everything they don't have. They live in emptiness. They live in darkness. And every time they see you smile, every time they see you dream, every time they see you shine, it reminds them of what they will never be. So what do? They attack it. They try to shatter it. If you're kind, they'll call you weak. If you're ambitious, they'll tell you you're a fool. If you're full of love, they'll make you feel unlovable. Piece by piece, they try to strip away your light until you start to believe the lies. Maybe I am worthless. Maybe I'll never succeed. Maybe I don't deserve love. But here's the twisted truth. They don't actually want you gone. They don't want you completely broken. Because if you were truly empty, they'd have nothing left to feed on. So instead, they play a cruel game. They dim your light just enough to keep you trapped. Just enough to keep you doubting yourself. Just enough so they can keep feeding year after year. And that's why this 5th sign is the deadliest of all. If someone in your life consistently tries to crush your spirit, belittle your dreams, and poison your hope, you are not just dealing with a negative person. You are face to face with a human demon. And the only way to win is not to fight them, not to reason with them, not to fix them, is to run. Because your light is too precious. Your soul is too valuable. And if you stay, they will destroy you. So let's recap the 5 signs. They drain your energy without a word. They wear a mask that always slips. They thrive on your pain. They trap you in a web of control. They try to destroy the light inside you. If you see even one of these signs in someone close to you, pay attention. If you see 2 or 3, it's time to start creating distance. And if you see all 5, don't walk, don't hesitate, run. Because the truth is, not every demon lives in hell. Some live right here in human skin. And the only way to survive them is to protect your soul and never let your light go out.